All right, what's up, guys? I want to look at our crushing techniques today. In our forms, we've got the elbow thrown into the hand, this kind of squashing elbow. We've got in victory, you've got your squashing punch. You've also got in persistence, you've got your crescent kick smash into the hand. That's a move that is pretty common in different forms you might see. So let's talk about the proper way to do these smashing, crushing type moves. So make sure that the emphasis is always on the actual striking arm or leg, right? Because like if you imagine the opponent in this situation, let's say I'm throwing the elbow into the hand. What wouldn't make sense is to grab this opponent and pull the opponent into my elbow. If you were strong enough to do that, you probably wouldn't be having a problem with this particular opponent in the first place, right? Like you can't just grab somebody and be like, like smash their head against your elbow. But what you might do is grab a hold and then throw very forcefully that strike into your opponent, not relying on the idea that you're going to just like pull them into your arm, right? So that's less realistic. So the hand does come out and come in, right? That is part of the technique, that I'm reaching out to grab you, and then my arm will bend in, but you really just want to put the emphasis on throwing that strike really, really hard. On your other moves, like on your punch into the hand, this really does not actually move at all, and you see people do that where they kind of go like this. And once again, I'm taking your head and like ramming it into my fist. Not likely. Bam, it's here. That hand's going to stay in place, and I hit it. With the crescent kick, we'll get to that in more detail, but same idea. The hand stays in place. Wham, you hit it. All right, so let's look at elbow first. I want you guys to do 5 of these on each side with me right now. All right. So a lot of times you just throw a kick, you end up on one leg. In Discovery, that's certainly what we have. So we're like this. The knee is up. We're reaching out, and put your other fist on the belt tight, and then we're going to land and throw hard into the hand. Now, a couple things about this finished position. Look at the way my fist is tucked into that nook of my elbow there, and look at the way this other hand is a tight pseudo hand. It's not like some ugly, gnarly looking like claw thing like this, but here. All right, so one more time. I'm up and 2, up and 3. Notice that this is squared, that it's up high. It's not down here like I'm holding a baby, but it's up by the shoulder. All right, 2 more. Ready, fire it off into the hand. Should be kind of a noisy one. And 5. All right, check technique, fingers tight, and here. Okay, other side. Ready, reach out and fire the elbow. Reach out and fire the elbow. 2, good. 3 more times. Pull and strike, good. Twice more. Pull in and strike. 1 more time. Pull in and strike. Fingers tight, thumb tight, right into that nook and up shoulder level. Okay. What else about that one? I feel like I have one more thing. Probably like circle back around to that again later on. But that squash elbow technique comes up a lot. That's the right way to deliver it, okay? Now we jump up to this idea of the kind of squashing punch. And this happens in our victory form. I think it's a cool move. It's coming out of an outside pseudo block. So arm bent at a 45-degree angle. You're going to flick your wrist. So this, imagine that a punch has come or more like on this side, and you have blocked it, and then you've slipped your hand behind the opponent's head, right? So I've blocked, grabbed you, boom, and then I'm coming in to punch you. Control, maybe on your hair or on the back of the head. That's why if you're like really dedicated martial artist, you don't give somebody a handle there. You get the Master Terry haircut. I could have flowing locks, but I choose not to. All right, you're here. That's not true. All right, and I've got this, and then again, I'm not pulling in, but I'm punching out to the hand. Eye contact helps. I know that sounds obvious, but you look into your hand, strike it. Make sure you feel those 2 punching knuckles right on your hand. And if you were to drill this, I would go from the block turn, punch out. What makes this a little more difficult in the form is that you're actually crossing over with the feet. So you're like this, and as you cross over, see there's a tendency to pull this in, right? But as you cross over, I want you to keep your hand extended out away from you, and then really have to reach for it, okay? All right, a couple more times on that side. We cross over, keep the hand out. And one more time, reach over, bam, keep the hand out. All right, other side. Do 5 times, return, bam, cross. I know you can't see my feet, that's not important right now, just working on this hand thing. 3, good, bam, 4, and bam, 5, not pulling in but reaching out. Okay, crescent kick smash into the hand, inside crescent. Boy, does this go wrong pretty often. Want to show you some of the things that you will need to look out for. I'm going to reposition us here on a different surface just so you can see my legs better. All right, kind of rig this up, see how that goes. Ooh, that's precariously perched, but should be okay. All right, so check it out. I got my hand out and I did kick into it, right? Slap and then crescent kick, comes up a lot. So the first thing I have to make sure of is that my hand doesn't drop. As I go to throw crescent kick, you see what's natural is that because my shoulder starts to open up, my hand will float away. That's annoying. Experiencing a spider attack from the rings there. As I start to open up to throw this kick, this hand's tendency will be to float away. So I throw this crescent kick, bam, and I might end up hitting it, but it's like way off to the side. So the idea is that I've got your head. This might be kind of unrealistic move, but this is what we're thinking about. I've got your head. I'm going to keep your head where it is. I'm not going to let it come off to the side just because my shoulder starts to turn. So I keep this here in space, occupying the same spot. Bam, my foot comes up to it, smacks into the hand. All right, so let's do that a few times. We're here, comes up, bam, back. Go 3, go 4, and one more time, go 5. Okay, now before we do the other side, I want to show you another problem that comes up with this move. What you don't want is this kick that goes, you're going to have to see this from the side, that goes kind of directly up into your hand like that. See how I've really shortened the whole crescent kick motion? So instead of doing that, what we want is a kick that actually reaches out past, look where my fingers are, where my leg is, that kick should reach out past your hand, and as you fold the kick, right, as you kind of start to rechamber the kick, that's when you're going to make contact with the hand. All right, so don't try to shorten the kick and go make a direct line up there because it's going to be very weak. Instead, reach past and then hit kind of on the way back in. I'll show you what that looks like from here if we break it down a little slower. Reach past the hand, and then I'm kind of hitting that way. It all happens pretty fast, but the idea is you got to make your crescent big, you got to reach out with it, and it will still hit the hand kind of on the way back in. Let's do 2 more on that technique right here. Bam, and one more. Try not to let it float out to the side. All right, there you go, guys. Crushing techniques in your forms, the right way to do them. Train hard as always.